Welcome to Unemployed and Afraid, a podcast that explores the glorious mess of building your own business with the people doing it. I'm your host and fellow business builder, Kim Kerton. Thank you for being here. Let's get into some good, honest, small business chat. Listener, whether you've been in business for yourself for 5 minutes or 10 years, putting yourself out there in new ways hurts. And I know you feel me on this pretty well every single time. So let me share with you my story of putting myself out there recently, why it hurt so bloody much, and why it was so very worth it, in the hope that it inspires you to back yourself a little more today. See, a few weeks ago, I found myself stepping onto an international flight to London, which some 4 months before Confident Me had booked tickets to this conference in London called the Podcast Show. It's the world's largest and most impactful conference on the business of podcasting. I love Confident Me booking that ahead of time, but to give you adequate context to what this conference is, just imagine every major player in your industry. From tech to creative talent, small businesses to massive businesses, globally known names, people you've admired and companies you've wanted to be partnered with and want to be partnered with, all in the same space for 2 days in some epic extravaganza, talking about the topic you so passionately love and engage in for work and for pleasure. Because that was the podcast show for me. Professional development is one of the most important factors in building your business, regardless of its structure, but it comes with so much risk undertaking that professional development, and also so often feels like a financial investment that is actually a huge luxury. So I knew I wanted to go to this event, but the reality is, I'm an independent business owner in the space, and sending myself there is literally taking money out of my pocket in a time where it's not exactly flush to do so. It's an action not at all lost on me either, because coming from a corporate background, where if you're lucky, your workplace will send you to the odd conference that kind of ends up feeling like a bit of a holiday, but this did not feel like a holiday to me at all. Every single dollar I spent on this, every single action I took felt like a little bit of heartburn. And it was, speaking frankly, a sizable investment. Basically, all the money I had in the world for personal investing into myself. And I really did not take the decision of this lightly. So back to stepping onto that plane. Now, I will note here that, like a smart business girly, I am actively invested in accumulating points, frequent flyer points. So a huge chunk of the cost of flying was managed in this way. Seriously, listener, get on the points train. Not sponsored. I'm just on the train. If you have a company structure set up here in Australia and are not using Amex, drop me a DM so I can spill the tea for you. And with this whole getting on the plane and using points and all of the things, I got an extraordinary upgrade, which was amazing. So I felt like a proper solo boss up in business class, off on my professional development adventure. So it's all fun and games and extra desserts and way too much food that I didn't eat in the plane because I ate everything because I don't drink. So I wanted to get the most out of it by eating everything. It's all fun and games until the moment I'm standing in the conference alone. It's at that stage with hideous jet lag and jiggly leg excitement that I feel all of the pressure I've put on myself. I'm here at this conference to learn and connect on a topic that I'm a professional within, yes, but it carries something bigger for me. I need this experience, whatever is about to happen over these next 2 days and beyond, to level up my career and business pursuits almost immediately. Like, it is a growth need for the business, a forecasted need, and it's also a personal need to get out of the everyday and start to see some bigger picture. So many of the ideas that I have for growth in this area and growth in my business require a partner or an investment, as well as more clients to serve. We naturally all need those. Service-based business feels all the way through. And so I'm starting to feel this immense pressure in being at this conference and in seeing so many of the participants that are there representing a company, like being sent over by their company or being there on the ground as part of a bigger team. It makes me feel really exposed. Financially, yes, but also emotionally and professionally, like all the exposure, living out the naked in front of a crowd dream, which is awful. Nonetheless, I put my head down and I barreled into the first breakfast networking function, basically, which looks like me getting a cup of tea and finding the first available seats so that I don't feel like I'm standing awkwardly looking around and starting a conversation with someone. That someone happened to be a lovely human from Poland who also specializes in branded podcasting as I do. So some relax kicks in. And I see a lovely woman from Germany who's there alone too. She comes over, she joins the chat. Okay, all right, I'm okay. I'm not a sore thumb sticking out quite so much. There's more of us out there just, showing up as ourselves. The day goes by in a proverbial blur. Again, blame it on the jet lag, but I attended as many sessions as I possibly could to the point of brain overload. But what stands out to me is the moment that I stick my hand up right in the air and ask the global head of iHeartMedia something in front of the whole theater during question time after his presentation, which like when you do that, when you ask a question in front, I don't know if you feel the same way, but like just that cold feeling of like, oh, I don't know what I'm about to say and I don't know how it's going to come out and everybody's listening. I think I might throw up, but I did it anyway because I really had something I wanted to know. And doing this became quite important later on, which I'll share in a moment. And when I sit down for lunch, I find myself next to a head of a global tech giant who's also just enjoying lunch by himself and across from a great Australian production house. Before knowing where either of them are from, we're engaging in conversation and great ideas and good banter. And, we were establishing relationships. I write pages and pages of notes throughout all of the sessions I attend, digitally, naturally, on my Remarkable. Huge nerd for the Remarkable. Maybe they'll sponsor me one day. Girl can hope. But I attend as many sessions as I can and keep soaking up this information. And then even attend an after party by myself. Again, because I don't drink, like these things always feel a little bit more awkward, but I show up there and make friends and do my best and connect and happen to find more than a few of my industry friends that I've met through corporate media over the years or have connected with on LinkedIn. Like the network starts to feel more real. And there were more Aussies there than I thought there would be, which is a surprising benefit. It is weird how sometimes you need to travel halfway around the world to like deeply connect with people just an hour away who you already have a relationship with. But somehow at some point over the next couple of days, many of the ideas I've been percolating on over the last 12 months start to come together. And an opportunistic conversation that just happened naturally with an industry friend where I felt more confident to share some of these ideas has resulted in an opportunity for me to develop a pitch for, if it happens, an incredible partnership opportunity. And ironically, again, back to me sticking my hand up awkwardly in the theater, I just used the answer to that question that I asked to that all important head of iHeart as a key part of the pitch. So, linking things here, they come together and there's a return on investment already. Now, I am already massively personally overinvested in this idea. So it's dangerous to even think about, really. We know how that feels when we get overinvested and get let down. So I'm going to try and forget about it for now and certainly hope I don't jinx it. Our entire job, as we learn through this process of running a business, is to pitch ourselves constantly into new ideas. And there's a million ways these ideas could just die out and go nowhere. And so much of that work feels like it's chewing time with no outcome. But the thing is, of all of these acts, the chasing down of ideas and developing pitches, it matters. It all adds up in allowing ideas to deeply formulate, to be formulated, to become actual real ideas and to get better. And it all contributes to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. There's so much faith involved in this business building process. That whole adage of the journey and not the destination is super overused, but it is true. Because building your own business has nothing to do with the massive milestones that you achieve and everything to do with the little wins, the little pushes, the little pains, the little frustrations, and all of the actions you take along the way that challenge you. So while I'm feeling a little like physically unwell as to the thought of how much actual money I have to spend to get myself to London and back within 7 days to attend this conference, money that wasn't and isn't free flowing, and the fact that doing so meant I missed out on celebrating a dear friend for her birthday, and also while my jet lag turned into COVID, which was a travel gift I definitely could have done without, I can't help but share with you how very worth it was for me, and it is, to throw yourself into rooms that you don't feel like you deserve to be in before it feels comfortable, be that financially or otherwise. The return on investment for putting yourself in the room isn't as obvious as other expenses like outsourcing work to get back more time or investing in advertising, hello meta ads, which seem to be causing so many business owners so many problems at the moment. It's an investment in something far more important. It's an investment in seeing yourself in the role that you've created for yourself, in the business that you're building. It's backing you, the person behind the business, and naturally the opportunities you can't see yet, which really could be days or years away. Dr. Marion Piper, who was a guest here on the pod a couple of episodes back, shared a story about this very thing, about putting herself in the room. She attended a conference that was a bit of a stretch at the time, and she did her usual activity of active doodling, which I just love the visual, as note taking to land the ideas that she was hearing. Someone noticed and introduced her to the conference manager, being like, look at these cool things that she's drawing, this is amazing. And 2 years later, that person that she met with, that Marion met with, asked her to speak on stage at that very event. Talk about a flow on effect, like epic. And I'll link you that episode in the show notes so you can give it a listen because she really does have so many insightful shares about the experience of building a business your own way. So if there is something that you're thinking about, an event, a conference, something in your industry that puts you in the room in a way that doesn't yet feel entirely comfortable, know that the return on investment will probably be there in ways that you haven't considered and could never have even imagined. Much like starting and growing a business develops you in ways you never planned for, never could have even made up half the time. Listener, put yourself in the room. You deserve it. I deserve it. We deserve it. It's just part of what we have to do. And if you needed this as a bit of encouragement, I hope it's been helpful for you. And I hope that you connect with me on Instagram, Unemployed and Afraid, if you haven't already, so you can slide into the DMs, chat with me about business anytime. Before you jump over to another episode, check and make sure you're subscribed to and following this show on the platform you're listening on because it goes a very long way to helping me grow the show and reach more brave business builders like you, but also ensures that I can share new episodes with you as they drop, new insights, and I will continue to share with you as much of my journey and as much of the journey of others as possible to help you on the building of your own because we are 100% here for keeping more people thriving in business.
Thank you for listening to Unemployed and Afraid, the podcast for small business builders with your host, me, Kim Kerton. If you love it, you can say thanks with a star rating and a review. And of course, join the community on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Find us at Unemployed and Afraid wherever you're hanging out, and I'll see you there.